Canada's first coronavirus patient started to feel unwell on his flight from China, but walked out of the country's largest airport.
Based on the latest information, the patient had symptoms on the plane.
The Toronto man in his 50s was taken to the city's SUNNYBROOK hospital with mild symptoms after returning from Wuhan, the central Chinese city where the outbreak began. The man flew to Pearson Airport out of Guangzhou on China Southern Airlines.
The patient remains in stable condition at this time, and there's been no other concerns. And we're continuing to keep them in hospital, and we're closely monitoring the situation.
The Greater Toronto Airports Authority tells CityNews it does not know whether the man self-reported to border officers. Dr. THERESA Tam says Canada's public health agency only just discovered he was symptomatic on his flight.
This patient was not reported to us, no. Anyone coming from the affected area would have had those screening questions. I can't comment in the exact details as to what happened to that person going through Pearson Airport.
Health authorities are now trying to track down fellow passengers and airline staff who were in a 2-meter radius of the patient to ensure none of them is infected.
For the rest of the plane, if you don't get a call from public health authorities, it means you were not right next to that 2-meter radius of that particular patient. They should not be overly concerned. If you were coming back from China, we have been providing information at the airports as to what you should do to monitor your own health.
International airports in Toronto, Montreal and Vancouver have stepped up screenings for suspected cases of coronavirus. According to the Canada Border Services Agency, travelers experiencing flu-like symptoms will be referred for further examination by a public health officer. But it was the patient who called 911 the day after landing, telling the dispatcher he had been to Wuhan and felt sick.
For me, that is a sign that the information at the border did actually percolate through to the patient and his family.
Just to reiterate that I think the system is working.
The U.S. State Department is organizing a single flight out of Wuhan on Tuesday for diplomats and some private citizens, but it doesn't appear Canada is taking any immediate such steps. In a statement, the Foreign Affairs Minister says assistance is currently being provided to Canadians on the ground. Canada does not have a consular presence in Wuhan. For City News, I'm Caryn Ceolin.